you noticed that your thoughts feel a little heavier lately? That maybe you're worrying more, second guessing yourself, or maybe even feeling emotionally drained and wondering what's wrong with you? If you're in midlife and navigating menopause, this episode is for you. We're talking about why negative thinking can show up more intensely during this stage, why it's completely normal, and why it doesn't mean you're losing yourself. If you've been feeling overwhelmed, emotionally off, or maybe quietly blaming yourself, this conversation will help you breathe again and remind you that there's nothing wrong with you. Come on in. It's time to choose happy. Wherever you are, whatever kind of day you're having, this is your reminder. You have a choice. If you're ready to break free from self-doubt and negative thinking, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Marie, and this is the Choose Happy with Marie podcast. Welcome. Hello, how are you? Welcome back to the show. I hope you're doing well. Let me ask you a question. Have you noticed that your thoughts may have felt heavier lately? Maybe you're finding your patience just a little thinner, your confidence a little shakier, or your mind just doesn't seem to slow down the way it used to. Maybe you're worrying more than you ever have before. Maybe you're second guessing yourself, replaying conversations, or lying awake at night thinking about things that you can't control. If that's you, I want you to know something right away. You are not losing yourself, and there is nothing wrong with you. I don't personally know you, so I can't say that in the big context, but if you are feeling this way, in the context of what I just shared, there's nothing wrong with you. This episode is actually in response to a member of our community who reached out to me and asked if I could talk about menopause and how it seems to trigger more negative thinking. And when I read her message, I knew immediately this conversation matters. Because so many of us, so many women are quietly experiencing this and often feeling alone. And before we go any further, I want to say this. If you're a man listening to the episode, and thank you very much for being here. We do have male members in our community. Thank you for being here. This conversation can help you understand what the women you love may be experiencing and why empathy, patience, and understanding matters so much during this season of living our life. Today, we're going to talk about menopause and negative thinking. Why worry, self-doubt, and emotional overwhelm often show up more intensely during this stage of life. And how awareness, not fixing, is the first step toward feeling peace and some kind of normal. I just thought I would share a bit of my own experience because I know how easy it is to feel like you're the only one struggling. When I entered menopause, so I'm aging myself just a little bit here, I didn't wake up one day feeling dramatically different. It was subtle at first. I started to notice that small things just felt bigger. Decisions that I used to make with ease, suddenly they just felt heavier and harder. I would replay conversations in my head and wonder if I'd said the wrong thing. I'd feel a tightness in my chest over things that never used to bother me before. And the brain fog and hot flashes. All right, well, that last one became entertaining for my husband until he realized it was not entertaining for me. And maybe you can relate to what I just shared. And What was hardest, if I'm being truly honest, wasn't necessarily the physical symptoms for me, although that was hard. It was the mental ones. I remember thinking, why can't I handle things the way I used to? Why do I feel so on edge? Why am I doubting myself now of all times? And why can't I come up with the answer as quickly as I used to? Society doesn't prepare us for this, in my opinion. I don't think there's enough education about it. Instead, we subtly are taught that menopause means decline. Those are negative messages. Messages that suggest that we're becoming less capable, less patient, less emotionally stable. And when negative thinking ramps up, many women turn to that inward moment and assume they're failing. It lowers our self-confidence and our self-esteem. But here's the truth that I wish someone had told me sooner. I had to figure it out on my own. And if you're here, I want to share this with you. Menopause, not sure I'm saying that properly. Menopause doesn't make you weak. There's nothing wrong with us. I want to repeat this because I really believe this. There's nothing wrong with us as we go through menopause. Yes, there are challenges. There are physical challenges, for sure. But what I want to normalize is we are humans in transition. We are going through a stage of living a human life. Yes, our hormones are shifting. Our nervous system is recalibrating. And when that happens, our inner thoughts, especially worry and self-doubt, they can get louder. It doesn't mean that they're true, even if they are really loud and want to take over your mind. I'm just reflecting to the messaging that we women receive during this stage of life. So often, menopause is framed as something to get through, something to fix, or quietly endure. There's an unspoken belief that if you're struggling emotionally, you should just push through it, or worse, feel embarrassed by it. But imagine if instead of asking, what's wrong with me, we ask, what's happening to me? That answer empowers us with knowledge to take the next step. Because there's a huge difference. Menopause is a natural transition. It's not a diagnosis. It's not a personal failure. And it's not the end of your clarity, your creativity, or your confidence, even if it temporarily feels that way. When society tells us that we're too emotional, or too sensitive, or overreacting during this stage, that messaging fuels negative thinking. It makes us doubt ourselves even more. And that doubt, that's often the most painful part. And as a person who I lead a brand about breaking free from negative thinking so that we can live our happy life, I'm not there for that. I am here to empower us with knowledge, to reconnect with who we are and what we need without society telling us what we need. So maybe you can tell I'm a little passionate about this subject. So I'm really grateful that our listeners suggested that I talk about this topic. I'm passionate about it because when we look at it as something negative, as something wrong with us, it takes away our personal power. So let's just turn to what's really happening beneath the surface. So I just did a little bit of research because I wanted to empower myself and you with some knowledge about what is happening physically. And you may already know this. Hormonal changes during menopause, it affects our neurotransmitters in the brain, like serotonin and dopamine, which play a big role in regulating our mood, our emotional resilience, and how we process stress. So that means that our brain may interpret situations as more threatening than they actually are. Worry may show up faster. Self-doubt may feel louder. Emotional reactions may feel more intense. But this is important. Thoughts are not facts. I will repeat this for those of you who are multitasking. Thoughts are not facts. Just because your mind says something bad is going to happen or I'm not handling this well, doesn't mean it's true. It means your nervous system is working overtime. Awareness, simply noticing what's happening, is the most compassionate response you can offer yourself right now. So let's talk about what this can look like in real life. So it's great, Marie, we're talking about this. Appreciate you. Like, what can I really do in my real life? All right, let's talk that through. Maybe you wake up in the morning and before your feet even hit the floor, your mind starts listing everything that could go wrong that day. Anything related to work, family, health, responsibilities, and you haven't done anything yet, and you're already exhausted. Or maybe it shows up in relationships. You receive, let's say, a short text from someone that you care about. Something neutral like, "Can we talk later?" And immediately your mind fills in the blanks. Did I upset them? Is something wrong? Did I forget something important? Your chest starts to tighten. You replay recent conversations. You feel unsettled, all from a single sentence, 4 words. Can we talk later? This is menopause-related negative thinking in action. Instead of spiraling, imagine pausing and saying to yourself, "This is my nervous system reacting. This is worry. This is not reality." That pause matters. Or maybe your worry shows up at night. You're thinking about your adult kids, your aging parents, or people you love. You run through every possible scenario, believing that worrying is a form of love. But here's the truth. Worry doesn't protect the people you love. It drains you. You can care deeply about them and still choose calm. It is possible. Here are a few gentle ways that you can support yourself if you are going through menopause. You're not trying to fix anything. This is just meeting the moment as it is. So it's a 3-step. First step, label the thought. So in this case, you would say, "This is a menopause thought," or "This is worry." Naming it creates distance. Second, pause your body before your mind. Take a slow breath, drop your shoulders, feel your feet on the ground. The body will lead the mind back to calm. And third, practice self-kindness. Remind yourself, this is a normal stage of life. I don't need to judge myself for this. And finally, simplify your expectations. This is not the season to push harder. It's the season to listen more closely to your body your emotions, and your needs. I want to say this clearly because it matters. Menopause is a normal stage of life. Yes, it can be challenging. I can tell you it can be. And yes, it can feel unfamiliar. But it does not define you. You are not suddenly doing too much. You are not losing your strength. This phase of life asks for compassion, not criticism. Gentleness, not judgment. And one day, often quietly, you'll realize you made it through by learning how to meet yourself with kindness instead of resistance. If what I've shared with you today resonated with you, I want to give you an affirmation that you can use that may be helpful to you during this stage of living your life. You can repeat it now or return to it later. If you're on my email list, you will receive it in writing this week. The affirmation to help support menopause symptoms goes as follows. This stage of my life is normal. It may be challenging, but it does not define me. I choose compassion for myself as I move through it. This week, simply notice your thoughts. Identify them, breathe, and remind yourself you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just transitioning. If you would like gentle encouragement and positivity delivered to your inbox each week, you can join my email list. The link will be in the show notes. A little calm and reassurance can go a long way. Thank you for being here. I hope today's episode resonated with you. My thanks to the listener who suggested the topic. Thank you. I hope it was helpful to you. Let me know. Simply reply to the email that I will send to you this week. Wishing you a wonderful week. Choosing happy. Cheers. Thanks for listening to Choose Happy with Marie. If today's episode spoke to you, I would love it if you could share it with a friend or leave a quick review for the show. It helps more women find this kind of support. Remember, you don't have to overhaul your life to start feeling better. You just have to choose happy right where you are, one choose happy choice at a time. I'll see you next time. Take care.